Good evening. um, Day 46, complete, and today I made a little change. Not really a big change, it's something I was already working on. We've talked about, or I've talked about in some previous videos, um, but I wanted to start doing pull-ups. And so tonight, for my second workout, that's exactly what I started with, was pull-ups. I can do 3, almost 4. The fourth one's kind of, it's there, but not really there, so I don't count it. So today what I did pull-ups. So I did actual pull-ups. Then I did 10 negatives, 15 push-ups, and 20 lunges. Then got on the treadmill, half a mile. Got off, again, pull-ups again, negatives, push-ups, lunges, back on the treadmill. And I just repeated that until the end. So I think I got 4 rounds, all except for the half mile. I only got 3 rounds of that. But started with the pull-ups, and then what I finished with those is a couple of different hangs. So I did like a close grip, thumbs towards me, kind of a, like this hang, but fully extended, and then did a wider grip and a kind of closer grip, just but fully extended out, trying to keep the shoulders in pack as I was doing it. I've heard that doing hangs is good for you. We'll see. It was painful and tiring, but I'm willing to give it a try. I just did 30 seconds of each of those, and then rested for 30 seconds in between. But that's one of those things that I want to build, so I'm going to do that tomorrow too, or at least something similar to it, but with the kind of the emphasis on pull-ups, especially since at work I have a pretty decent pull-up system, pull-up bar that I can use. Workout 1 was just a ruck, pretty easy this morning. Got up, knocked it out, and had some extra time, which was great, and managed to finish my 10 pages of reading before I ever left the house. So my day actually started off really positively, and that made everything else go really smoothly too. So that's one of those things that I do find incredibly helpful, is when you start the day off right, and you keep moving in the right direction. So I know a lot of people talk about morning routines and stuff. I don't really have a huge morning routine. Sometimes my mornings vary, and I like to do that partly because you never know what is going to happen in the morning, like especially with my job. Like the other day, what was it, day 43, I think, I was up until 6 a.m. So by the time I went to sleep was when I normally wake up. And my plan was to go to sleep for about an hour and get up, take my kid to school, come back and sleep again for about an hour, take the other kid to school, and then come back and ruck and just get that first one out of the way. That did not happen. I ended up sleeping until about 2 p.m. It is what it is. It's just, that is how my body responded to being up that long. I was up almost 24 hours. I think I made it 22 before I finally just was like, okay, I'm tired, out. And I felt better because I did that instead of doing all the rest. Luckily, I got a good support system, at least in the house, on those things, and my wife stepped up and took the kids to school for me and let me sleep. But I mean, it is what it is. It just, that kind of thing happens. You have to roll with it. So that's why, it's like a lot of people that would just have completely screwed up everything. Oh man, my day's ruined it. I'm gonna do that. Nah, shit gets in the way. Like, I mean, you're gonna have weird stuff happen. Like, I mean, there's stuff's gonna come up. You have to roll with it. That's part of the program. Is you have to figure out how to make it work, regardless of what's going on. And I think that's where everybody wants this ideal situation. It's like, oh, I'm going to make it as ideal as possible. And I'm not going to lie, I, in a way, kind of did that. Uh, I had a kind of a weird trip that got in the way, and I knew just based on the travel schedule that it was going to be really difficult for me to do the 2 workouts in one of the day, in like 2 of the days, because I'd be traveling for 14 hours of both of those days. So it really was kind of an untenable situation. So I chose not to start 75 hard during that period. I wanted to start at the beginning of July. I had that trip coming up 2 weeks into July, and I was just like, that is not going to be a workable situation. And it was fine. I waited, started at the end of July, and here we are today. I do have a trip coming up in a couple of weeks, and fortunately the drive for that is only about 7 hours, so I'll be able to get a workout in early, drive to the destination, get another workout in, and then keep roll from there. And I should be able to, during that drive, probably switch off a couple, at least once with my wife, let her drive a little bit while I sleep or read. And that way I'm knocking out at least the 10 pages of reading and being able to focus on it and not, and if that doesn't work out, I'll do it in the evening, but I'll get it done. So that's really what matters, is that we get it done. So you get the work done, and that's it. There's no excuses. And same thing while I'm down there, while I'm on that vacation. I already kind of know what I can eat during the day. So I don't have to really worry too much about, having all these different foods. Fortunately, I can take the food with me. I can pack it, put a little, ice pack or something in there, and keep my, food cold. Throw a couple supplements in at the end, and everything's going to work out. But that's part of the deal. Make it work. Figure it out. Make it work. Let's see. On to the reading. Again. 32 Principles of Jiu-Jitsu. I think you can actually really tell that he started to struggle to find things towards the end. God, I wish I really should just write or bring a notebook with that stuff down, but I don't feel like it, like ad-libbing. But yeah, that's the problem with it. It was just so kind of nonsensical that it didn't stick. It's like there was nothing substantial about it, other than that you can tell that he is at a certain level of understanding and hasn't kind of graduated into the next level. Which is why, like, he's looking at something and going, well, this is a major thing, when it's really a minor note. It's really like, we're talking about writing essays, and he's still on forming, Dick and Jane sentences kind of thing. It's, he's past the alphabet. He's got that down. But hasn't quite learned how to make big words. He can, do the pretty simple ones and, kind of figure, but hasn't gotten to that next level where he's making those, longer coherent paragraph, sentences that form paragraphs, and then so on to form essays, write books, those kind of things. And I'm not saying that he didn't write a book. He wrote a freaking book. It's just the ideas that he has about jiu-jitsu, it's not quite there yet. It needs a little bit more time. But again, who am I? I've studied a lot of different stuff, and not just jiu-jitsu. I feel like I'm pretty damn fortunate to have spent the last 20 years with an instructor that encouraged me not only to question him, but to, look at other arts, read about, read things from other masters, and look at guys who have done martial arts for years and years and years, and take and learn lessons from those guys. So, while I feel like I'm still pretty new to the game, 20 years in, I do feel like I've got a fairly decent understanding of things. And, but then again, like I said, who am I? My name is nothing in the martial arts world, so, I'm just somebody spouting off at the mouth until I'm not, I guess. So, that was today. But I think the most important lesson today was that, if you can get things done early, do it. The more you can get done early, the more momentum you gain for your day, and the easier it makes things as the day progresses. One thing that I have, I've talked about it on a previous video, but it was kind of awesome that today, while I was on my ruck, I was listening to The Obstacle Is the Way, and he got to the chapter on momento mori, and I think he called it meditating on death. And surprisingly, I was very pleasantly, surprised that he kind of mirrored some of the things that I thought about. You look at people who are given a terminal illness, and a lot of times those people, rather than, some do, they cave and waste away and don't make it much further. They actually don't last as long as the diagnosis they're given. Other people take it in, and they take that mortality that they have, because now they know that they are absolutely going to die, and they start living, and they spend their last bit of time doing things and being more than they've ever been in their entire life. And he posits that the same kind of thing. It's, if we can do that before we're diagnosed with a terminal illness, as far as I know, I'm in pretty damn good health right now. Yet, I still understand that my time is limited. So, what can I do to, now that I have that, now that I know there's a limited time, unfortunately, while there's an unlimited time, I don't have it's an unknown. It's still like an unknown thing. So, for me, adding one more dynamic to it. How long? So, I'm 44. I think I can make it to 106. No, maybe I do, maybe I don't. But, that was the date that I picked, was April 1st, 2085. That puts me, a little over 100, a little more than 106 years old. It's kind of a fun day, April 1st. It's April Fool's Day. I didn't think about that when I first came up with it, but I like it. It's a good day. And having that day and going, okay, so now, I'm at 44 now. That's a little over 62 years. So in 62 years, what can I do? What can I accomplish in that 62 years that's remaining to me? Maybe I make it that far. Maybe I don't make it. Maybe I make it a little bit further. But what could I accomplish in that 62 years? Especially now, after having gone through this program so far. And once I make it to the end, and I take these lessons that I'm learning during this program and I apply them on a daily basis for the next 62 years. What can I accomplish? What can I leave behind? And it's a bigger gap of time than how long I've actually been alive. And really, even in that 44 years, I've only had 26 where I've kind of been independent, making my own decisions. So it's twice as long as the amount of time that I've been an adult, is how long that I could potentially be alive. I think there's a whole lot that I could accomplish in that amount of time. And maybe it's crazy, but it's just an interesting thought experiment for me to think, okay, what do I want to accomplish? And so I want to be able to still walk. I don't want to have to, be aided by something. I can't say that won't occur. The body does what it does. But are there things that I can do to mitigate that? Am I doing those things? So I can ask myself those questions now. And again, it's what I do on a daily basis, how I set up my power list. And, repeating those things on a daily basis to reach that ultimate end date. So again, just a thought. We're all going to eventually die. So, rather than blindly going into the darkness in the future, set that date up. Go ahead and meditate on it. And then start going backwards and think about once that date has come and they start writing about your life. What are they going to say? What is your life going to look like up until that point? Who would you be by the time you reach there? How did you get there? And then once you figure it out, go out and do all that shit. Live a life that will be remembered. So that's my goal. I want to get to the end and know that I've lived a life that's worth remembering. So just a thought. Anyways, thank you as always like, subscribe. This is a long ass video. Um, Comment if you want to. Tell me I'm crazy. Uh, Whatever. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll put that in the description. But yeah, thank you, and I'll see you on day 47.